everybody, and welcome to Lauren Loves Color. This is Lauren. I am here for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 book flip and review. Oh my gosh, it felt like we went like this dry spell of not very many book releases to all of a sudden it's like boom, everybody's releasing books at the same time. So this is really exciting, and exciting for you because it's kind of a small haul slash flip and review. So it's taken me a little bit of while or a little bit of time to color in all of these books, but I finally have them so that I can give you my true, real thoughts and opinions about what I think about all of these books. As always, I will link down below in the description box links to all of these books that you're going to see here from these amazing publishers, as well as I'm going to leave timestamps for all of these books. This is likely to be a long video. So if you're interested in maybe only 1, 2, 3, or 4 books, or all of them, you can skip back and forth if you just click the hyperlink next to the book. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with what I see on top, which is a beautiful new release. This is from Prachi, Dewan, Sachdeva. This is called Ceramic Tiles. This is a color by number book. I will tell you, the Sachdevas usually put their books, some of their books, most of their books, in a color by number and then also release a non-color by number version. I have only seen this book just got released yesterday. I only have seen the color by number version, so I'm not sure if she plans on doing this in non-color by number, but you guys know I love my color by number, so this is right up my alley. This is the back of the book here. Really, really beautiful design on the back of the book. What I like is that she has the 21 color palette that matches with Sachdeva's color palette, who is her husband. And so they kind of have an aligned color palette now. So it makes it really nice if you have marker matches like me to the kind of that standard palette. The consistency between their books is mwah, chef's kiss. Great. Love it. So love that. This is also, as you'll notice, a different size book. So this is an 8.5 by 8.5 instead of an 8.5 by 11. So here, I'm going to just adjust my camera just a little bit so we look straight. So this one is a smaller book as well, which is also really nice. I have a few little pieces of data for you here. There are 25 pages in this book. This book is currently on sale for $4.99. So the first week of all of the Sachdevas releases, they release their books for $4.99. So I always mention, follow them on social media. Go check them out, because when you hear about their releases, if you're interested, pick them up the week that they go live. I believe the regular price is likely, when I look at some of their other books, likely to be around $5.99. It'll be somewhere between $5.99 and $7.99 is usually their typical pricing for their books. So that's just for you. So let's take a look inside. Here's a nice title page here, book belongs to page, a nice introduction to the book itself. Just talking a little bit about the pages being single-sided, it's color by number, and then this is where we get to the very first page. On these books, when they're patterns, I like to kind of follow just, just in order when I can. This is a nice typical setup for the Sachdeva books. They have the full 21 color palette listed on the left-hand side, which is black backed, and then they have their image on the right-hand side. I love it. I absolutely love this. I was able to use the chisel tip of my alcohol markers, which is what I colored this with, in all of this, because the spaces are nice and large. The numbers are very easy to see. The picture is framed perfectly. I like that she did the 8.5 by 8.5 because it doesn't leave those kind of awkward large white spaces on the top and the bottom of the page. There's not wasted space. So this book is just beautiful. I love the color combination that she chose here. I went in with my white Posca pen. It's this guy here, which is the 2.5 millimeter size white Posca, and just did little dots around just to give it a little bit of extra something. I have a hard time just straight coloring now that I've kind of been experimenting with stuff. But this is one of those perfect, like, if you have 30 minutes to color, like one of those perfect books for that. So I'm going to flip through so you can see the variety of different images here. When I first looked at this book and when I first flipped through it when I got it in the mail, I was like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of like a kaleidoscope. If you hold those up to the sun and you see the shapes and the colors like change, like that's kind of what this reminded me of. But I really love just the variety. I'm just like, how can you come up with so many different pattern combinations for something that's such a similar style? Like, it's so nicely consistent. From page to page, like it feels like they all belong in the same book. But man, I like this a lot. This is a really, really great book. I was kind of wondering where the Sachdevas went because I hadn't had a book released from them in about 3 weeks, and usually at least every week or at minimum every 2 weeks I usually see something from them. So I was kind of wondering, you know, what had happened, but it sounds like they were actually in the middle of moving. And if any of you guys have moved from house to house, you know that that is just, man, that is a rough transition anytime you move. The packing, the moving, the construction, the closing on the house. I mean, all that stuff is just so time consuming. So, but it sounds like they're back in business. They're back at work and back rolling again. So I'm happy to see them returning. All right, so that's all of your images. She provides 4 nice color chart pages here in case you wanted to swatch your markers or mediums that you like to utilize in your books and get some color matches there. She also has just a reminder, please leave a review on Amazon if you enjoyed the book. And then blank sheet of paper here, and that is the end of the book. So really, really beautiful book. Highly recommend this one. I mean, gosh, this is a great, great book. Great, easy, just easygoing, fun pattern book. So this one I really, really like. And I love the smaller style books. They feel less intimidating to me, and they feel like if I just want to sit down and I'm just kind of tired and I just want to put color to paper, these are the kinds of books that I gravitate towards. So great job, Prachi, on that book. I'm really happy with that one. All right, let's take a look at this book. This is the Floral Mandalas Volume 2 book. This is by Debbie Densham. I have sitting next to me, this is her Floral Mandalas. This is the very first book that came out. And so this is the second in her series. So there's just a couple of small differences. Well, actually a couple big differences between the 2 books that I'll discuss here in just a moment. One of the very first things that you'll see that's a slight difference is actually the cover. The cover on this one is kind of a nice glossy cover, and this one is actually that soft matte cover. I really like the soft matte covers. They're great for filming and recording, but I also like the feel of the glossy. Either one is fine. I don't necessarily have a large preference for either, but it's kind of nice. She did a really, really nice design and really good job on this cover here. This is the back of the book, and I'll show you this are the differences between the backs. Also, let's go through some of our statistics and information really quick. So there are 30 total pages in this book. There are 15 on a white background and 15 on a black background, which we'll talk about in just a minute. The price for this book is $9.99, and the important thing to note is this is on premium Amazon paper. So this is that super smooth, glossy paper, perfect for alcohol markers or any type of marker, not great for colored pencil if you're a colored pencil person. But the interesting thing is so she has done 15 unique designs. So there's 15 mandalas in here. 15 of them are put on this white background with the color palette suggestion with the mandala, if you like the color palette suggestions, which I really do. And then there's 15 on a black background, but that have no color palette suggestions, so you can kind of make your own colors. So it's 2 sets of 15 that are in this book. So let's set this book aside. Let's take a peek so I can kind of show you what I've done in here and also kind of show you the layout of the book itself. Debbie Densham has a really, really great presence on Instagram as well. She is one of us. She is a colorist, and so I love watching her on Instagram and things, and to kind of see what she does as well. I will say she does a fantastic job publishing these books. They're really, really beautiful. What I also really like is on the white background pages here, she has that nice kind of pastel color back. It just adds a little bit of extra, I think, luxuriousness to her books and how they feel and the experience coloring them. So starting here, we're starting with the white background pages. She's moved the color palette to the left-hand side of the page too, so that it's not on the bottom, so it doesn't obstruct or obscure the image as you're coloring it. I like that she moved it here. I think that that's totally fine and acceptable. I wish she would have moved it down to the bottom of the page. This was pointed out by another video that I watched, and I was like, oh, that's actually a really good point. If you're using alcohol markers, the alcohol markers will bleed. So if I'm coloring this image, it's going to bleed through on the back here, and so it may distort the colors on the back of this page. So I may work from the back to the front in this book, just so that I don't distort the color palette suggestions that she has there. So just be mindful of that if you're using alcohol markers. If you're using water markers, it's not a big worry at all. You don't have to worry about all of that, but just be aware that that can happen with your use of alcohol markers. Also, I do want to point out these mandalas are substantially more intricate than what you're going to see in her first book. So just to kind of show you side by side, the mandalas are like in this book here, you can kind of see there's nice, really large spaces. So if you're someone that maybe struggles with dexterity with, you know, trying to get in and out of some of those small spaces, this book might be a lot more challenging for you. But what I think this does appeal to a different type of colorist as well, because definitely the ones in her first mandala book were a lot more simplified, a lot more easy, and these provide for a much larger and you know, longer coloring experience. All of her mandalas appear to be hand drawn as well, and I think she may mention that in the book. Ooh, I really like that color palette. They appear to be hand drawn, and they're just really, really gorgeous. I love coloring on the Amazon paper, the black boldness of her lines that she has. So even though they're detailed, they're nice black bold lines. You don't experience as much, you know, feathering of color or, you know, spreading of color like you would in some of the ones that have thinner lines. So these are just really, really nice and beautiful, beautiful images and beautiful pages. This is the cover image. All right, and so this is the one that I colored. So I kind of started in the back, the very last white colored page, to do that so that I wouldn't bleed through. I did also want to show you on this, I colored a white one and then I colored one on a black background. And the reason that I did that too was because I wanted to show you also ways that you don't have to color every white space. So in this one, I kind of left some more of the white space open as to make it a little bit easier and less time consuming to color. And then I did color one and I used the exact same color palette. So I took her color palette suggestion here and I applied it to the very first one that's on the black background and colored in every single space, just so you can see a little bit of the difference. And then this is the nice black background as well. So these are the exact same images, but they are on the black background instead of the white backgrounds. But I love Debbie's like folk art style. It's really, really appealing. It's very approachable, especially if you're a newer colorist. And I feel like you can really, really, even though they're the same image, you can change this up quite a lot just based upon the colors that you choose, the color palette suggestions that she has, the ways that you do the color. And I think that that's kind of cool to come back and to kind of maybe see, you know, what you did with one mandala versus the other. Here's her test page here where you can test some of the colors. I like that she included one for black background and white background, so you can kind of see how the colors look differently on different pages. And man, this is nice. It's a full color page here. So she does just leave a little bit of information about leaving a review on Amazon. She's Color Crazy Colorist on Instagram. And if you want to email her, talk to her, she's a delight and really wonderful. She does also have In Color, which was just so cool. Her two other books here, Woodland Huga, which was her first book that she came out with, and then Floral Mandala Folk Art Style, which was her second release. So congratulations to Debbie on this book. Man, Debbie, you did an awesome job. I'm really happy to have this in my arsenal, and thank you for thinking of me. All right, so let's talk about the third book that I have here. This is Mystery Mosaics While Fairies. This book was provided to me by the Belba family. This is the next in their like large line of their 3x3 millimeter square books. This one is so unique and so cool. So this book here is actually an adaptation of the Fairies Around Us book. So this book is a traditional stained glass kind of color by number book, and then this is their 3x3 kind of millimeter version of it. So they had to obviously take the pictures and change them a little bit to turn them into a 3x3, but I think that's so cool. This is one of my favorite books by Belba family, and I absolutely wish that they did more like this. Please let them know if you're interested in that, because I've put a bug in Belba family's ear about it, about like I would love to see more like this. So if you're like me and would like to see more of the stained glass books, then, you know, let them know. Let's talk a little bit. Let's look at like the back of these two books just so you can see the different images and things that are included in each of the books. This one is not a new release. This one is the new release. I just want to continue to point that out. So we'll do a little bit of comparison. I'll show you a couple different pages because these are kind of boring books to flip through because you can't really see anything. But I'll show you what the kind of what the image is actually going to look like. So this book here is 25 pages. It is $8.99, and like I mentioned, it matches the images from Fairies around us. So I will link both of these books down below in case you're interested. But what I want to show you, well, look in this book, what I think is really cool here, I'm going to flop these over just so you can see these a little bit better, is that they even were thoughtful enough to make the intro page somewhat look the same. Like, isn't that cool? Like, they made the pixelated version of this page in the book. Now, one thing that drove me slightly nuts at the beginning, but you can even see this. So, like, even the introductions look the same. The kind of backing accent paper is the same. Like, they legitimately did a really, really good job, you know, with this book. So one of the things that drove me crazy, though, was that the actual content and the order in which the fairies are, and I'm sure there was thought around that, is a little bit different in each book from each other. So, but it's the same color palette. Everything is pretty much the same. It's just this one is the more traditional color by number, and this one is not. So let's take a look at a completed page. So what I did was I matched up and found the same fairy on both pages. And this is just to kind of show you the difference between the traditional color by number and then the pixel color by number. So in the pixel color by number, I did the X method here. And I just used regular alcohol markers here. So I did the X method with some water markers, some Ohuhu water markers that I have here. And so you can see, obviously, this is going to be a little bit more detailed just because it is more of that traditional color by number. But you'll see, like, they included some of these things, like, you know, you can kind of see the raspberries and stuff in the little sandwich down here. They chose some of the same colors. She's got the green boots. The pink and kind of red are a little bit switched. There's not as much detail in the wings here as there is in here, but it is totally the essence. Like, this totally captures the essence of what you see in this book, which is what I find so amazing. So if you are interested, and these two books together are just really, really cool. I kind of figured it would be fun to color a page out of here, but then also to color the same page out of this book. So let's look at, I just kind of want to show you some of the pages that are not completed, just so you can kind of see what the detail looks like. So this second one here is called Ballet Fairy. And the second ballet fairy is going to be on page 33 here. So this is kind of an incomplete page here, and this is what the completed page looks like. So super, super small spaces in here, but if you love the 3x3 and kind of love the essence of what this book shows you, then I think you're really gonna like it. So I'm just gonna kind of actually, I think it's best if I just flip through some of the pages in this so you can see what some of the artwork is going to look like. And what I think is going to be really interesting is going to be how are they going to really be able to capture the detail behind some of these pages that are so detailed, you know, in the 3x3. This is like painting fairy. Like, the colors in this are really, really beautiful. I've seen that one before. This, I've actually, you can see on the back of the book is this image. Ooh, the glare, is this image right here. So you can kind of see what that looks like. But I just thought this was really, really fun. And I think there is a male fairy in here. Is this one this one? Yeah, these two are the same, are the exact same image as well. Yeah, here's the mushroom fairy, which is up there. And then this is the music fairy, which is right there. So she's fierce. She's picking up some concoction. This one's pretty, a unicorn. And then, yeah, this very last one is actually a male, which is pretty cool. So if you like the idea of these images, but like it in the 3x3mm book, highly suggest picking up Mystery Mosaics Wow Fairies. I had a really, really great time working on that, and also had a very great time coloring in this one. So these are 2 Belba family books I highly recommend. All right, so next is the newest release by Color Questopia. This is their Flowers Black Background Color by Number book. On the back is their standard 25 color palette. That's their new kind of updated and condensed color palette. This book here is 25 pages. Again, they also put their books on sale for the first week that they are available. So this is currently on sale for $4.99. I can see that there is a regular price of this book for $7.99. Also, additional information on this book is they always have a black background and a white background. So I'll link both below. I'm a big fan of the black background. I just think it's easier to color. I don't really like doing the outlines as much anymore. This actual front cover page kind of shows very vaguely what some of the white background looks like in this book, but they always have both available in case you're ever interested in you know, one or the other. So they have some tips and tricks at the front, information about their social media, and then we dive right into the book. So what's nice about this, it's a standard Color Questopia book. They have just the colors that you need for the image listed on the left-hand side. Yes, yes, yes. Love, love, love. Their pages are also single-sided, which is great. Additionally, they also have the name of the flower on the left-hand side. So if you want to see what the flower looks like in real life, maybe you want to do some shading, add something to it, change up the colors a little bit, whatever you want to do, you can reference that on the left-hand side of the page, which is really nice. This book is not terribly detailed, so I think these pages in here are going to go pretty quickly when you color them. There's not a lot of colors that seem to be utilized, and some are kind of busier than others. Some have different colors than others, but what I do like is that it's not just the flower is just one color. They either provided a range of different colors for different flowers, or like even here I can tell there's like 2 or 3 different colors that are included in each of these flowers here, which is really nice. Roses, sunflowers, and I am not the biggest like flower person. I don't know all of my flowers very well, so it's nice that Color Questopia has provided some guidance for me to know what the names of the flowers are. The tiger flower, tulips. Tulips are some of my absolute favorite flowers. I love tulips. Zinnias, we have lots of those around here. Gerbera daisy. They were just Gerber daisies, but maybe that's the formal name. Snapdragon, I've seen those too. I did the ranunculus because I just thought the name was ridiculous. It's just kind of funny. And so this was the page that I actually did here. I used alcohol marker crayon and then white Posca pen. For this, I did just a little bit of shading on the flowers and in some of the leaves. This was a lot of green and a lot of kind of difficult green to navigate, like what's the lighter green, what's the darker green, but the effect is really, really cool. And this was just really nice and easy. I actually colored this last night. Today is the 25th when I'm filming, and I had a pretty bad headache, and I just wanted to do something nice and simple. So this was kind of right up my alley. The bearded iris, the carnation, crocus, ball dahlia, iris. See, yeah, there's some that have like a lot of the grasses and things behind it, and then there's others that don't. Like this one, I mean, this is going to take you a bit of time if you're coloring. The lobster claw. This one, okay, so this page is the only page that's like this where it seems like it didn't quite take up the whole page. So I don't know if that's a I think it's a formatting issue on their end. So this is the only one that's like this. It certainly doesn't keep you from being able to color the page at all. It's just interesting that there's a white, kind of a larger white background. I kind of thought when I color this, maybe I'll just take some washi tape and put it around the border. Like you see, the rest of them take up the full page. The lily, coneflower echinacea, beautiful. All right, so that's all the images, and then they of course have just a ton of copies of some sample images from their other books. This is the large print, black backgrounds. I just absolutely Absolutely, absolutely love this book. What's interesting is, yeah, this is actually the wrong cover. This image, and I know this because I colored this book, this is from their first large print book, not their second one, because you can even see there's 42, this goes up to 42. This is not their most recent book. This is actually a different large print book. Ooh, do I have it? Yeah, this one came from this large print book. I bet you I can find the exact page this is too. So that was just a oopsie on their end. Yeah, it's this page right here. Yeah, that's the exact page. So this is actually from one of my absolute favorite Color Questopia books, the large print one that has, and I should know what this is, this flower is, based upon what I saw before, but it's not the one with the hot air balloons. It's actually the one that has the flowers on the front. So I'll reach out to Color Questopia and just let them know about that. This is from Dazzling Patterns. Gosh, I feel like a Color Questopia geek that I just instantly recognize that. Flowers and Gardens. So this has got the whole scenery. So if you're into the kind of flower coloring vibe, that's got all of it. They're Mermaids color by number, which is a cool book. Summer. Custom color charts in the back to kind of match your mediums, a color testing sheet, a reminder to leave a review, a blank sheet of paper, and that's it. So that would be Flowers, Color by Number by Color Questopia. All right, let's talk about this bad boy here. So this book here, this is from Sunlife Drawing. This is their newest release, 100 Dinosaurs. They sent this book to me as well for review, so thank you to Sunlife Drawing for thinking of me and sending this book to me. This literally is 100 Dinosaurs. It is a color by number book, but this one actually is structured a little bit different than their other color by number books that I have. They have 4 sample images here on the back of the book, which is always nice to be able to see some samples. But this actually has a 12 color palette, which most of the color palettes for their other books are a little bit larger. Ooh, let me grab one. So this is what their color palette normally looks like, which is a standard 22 color palette. So I don't know if this one is really targeted more towards a younger audience than their other Mosaic books, but yeah, we'll talk about it. It's a little bit different. I will tell you too, the one thing that I noticed, and I'm going to be 100% honest here, I did not even recognize this to be a Sunlife Drawing book until I saw them release or to announce it on social media. And the reason being is because I feel like I'm used to seeing covers like this, and their stained glass books, seeing like covers like this, they always have their, there's a little bit of a production difference, I feel like, between the two of these books. If I had to say anything to Sunlife Drawing, and I will give them this feedback, is that this front cover doesn't pop off the page. Like, it doesn't appeal to me as much as when you see something like this. Like, this is clearly slightly more produced and thought out. There's like shading and color. Like, it's just, it kind of draws you into wanting to get into the book when you see, you know, a book that's printed more like this or this. This one, I just think that there was an opportunity to just enhance the design on the book to make it a little bit more appealing when you're looking at it. This book, just as well, so you know, this is 100 pages. The price of this book is $8.99, which is very, very reasonable on Amazon for a book that is this large. So let's go ahead and get into it. This all looks very familiar, like a Sunlife Drawing book and kind of how it starts out. But yeah, this guy, I'm going to show you guys. That's a big boy. Like, that's a, here's like a normal book. I mean, it's a thick book. It's a really thick book. But the images on the inside feel very Sunlife Drawing like to me. So they have a variety of different portrait and landscape images, like in all of their other books. This is more of that stained glass style. So like if you look at this is like their mermaid book, and it kind of has that stained glass kind of look to it. It's the same way with this book as well. Color palette of the colors you just need down below at the bottom, which is really nice. Excuse me. I just got something tickling in the back of my throat. And so you can see, like, here has a little bit slightly, like this one only uses 6 pages, or 6 colors. Now, if you were here really just to see me pronounce all of the names to these dinosaurs, we'll be here for a hot minute if I were to try to do that. But I like the images in this book. Like, I feel like the front cover just didn't do it justice. Like, when I open the actual images and I look inside this book, I'm like, she's cute. Like, if you're into dinosaurs, like, it's a really, really cute book. I feel like it's pretty consistent with their other stained glass books that they have. I mean, slightly more simple, but again, this might be appealing to a different audience, you know, than me, than like an adult. But as an adult, you can definitely enjoy this book. And I really enjoyed the page that I did. Like, I feel like the page I did turned out really cute. It's just a little more simple. So I was actually a little bit surprised because when I got the book, I was like, this is the Sunlife drawing book. And I didn't quite know what to expect on the inside, but I really liked what was on the inside. So this is the page that I did, which is the Brontosaurus. And what I did here is what I really like to do in the Sunlife drawing book. So I outlined, and I actually did this one in permanent marker, outlined each section in permanent marker, and then colored it in with crayon. And I just feel like it gives it a nice vibe. Just, I think Lauren, Sunlife Drawing does a really good job with their stained glass books. And so I really enjoyed doing this. It was nice, fun, simple, and easy. And you know, you're learning something about your dinosaurs. They all seem to be in alphabetical order as well. They're all single-sided. They're on the standard Amazon paper that we've all grown to know and love. Some of us love. I like Amazon paper. I know there's not a lot of people who like Amazon paper. And yes, I think it is, you know, like me, when I'm trying to show this book, like to go back and forth between landscape and portrait is kind of annoying. However, and when I'm coloring, I do like, if I'm coloring front to back, to have a little bit of variety to where I don't feel like, oh, all of the last half of the book is going to be, you know, all the same orientation. And there's cute little stuff you can find in each of the pages. Like, you know, this one kind of reminded me of like a peacock. And so you can see there's like a flower here, maybe like some moss or something that is hanging off the branch. Like, how do you pronounce that? Denonshit? Nope, don't even try, Lauren. I think he's holding a little bone. There is some really cute stuff in some of these pages. So I was pleasantly surprised by this one. Dimorphodon. And I know this is one that I definitely am going to take out like some pages and stuff and do with my son, because my son is a huge dinosaur fan. So it's really cute. Like, look, he's got like a little apple. That's cute. I will say on the page I did color, there were a couple of spots that the numbers were missing. But guys, like, that's not uncommon in color by number books. And especially one that has this many pages. I mean, can you imagine how sideways you would be looking if you were editing this book and trying to make sure you saw everything? But it's not a deal breaker. Like, I mean, you can normally figure out what, especially in a book that's a little more simplified like this, you can kind of figure out what colors you think need to go where. The Gigantosaurus. Like, you must be huge. Like, I never knew so many dinosaurs existed. So I feel like I've learned something today. We've all learned something today. It almost makes you wish like there were fun facts or something on one side of the book so that I could kind of see what, you know, what the dinosaur was like. Was there a unique fact or fun item, or, you know, that we should know about that particular dinosaur? It does have land dinosaur, flying dinosaur, and water dinosaurs. So you get a nice variety. Like, here's one that's underwater. The Lambeosaurus. The Lesothosaurus. Oh, these names. These names. Is that like a little worm or eel or something? Kind of cute. What's the background? Light blue. Yeah, it's got to be a water dinosaur. Look at the little baby and the eggs. This just looks like a shark, but it's a megalodon. Maybe that's what they were called back then. Megaraptor. I'm curious. Comment down below and tell me what your favorite dinosaur was. I really was a fan of the Triceratops. I don't know why, but I always liked the look of the Triceratops dinosaurs. Ornitho Mimus. Some of these like dinosaur names, it's like they just named them these weird names to just torture us in trying to pronounce them. Yeah, no, like no, that's no. Can you imagine trying to spell your name with that many letters on a Scantron? It's just not happening. Oh, cute little like mouse sitting on his nose. Like this would have had to have taken forever to create this book. It's a lot of dinosaurs. Like some of these just keep looking like Triceratops. They're probably, you know, kind of brothers or sisters to Triceratops. Plesiosaurus. Plesiosaurus. It kind of looks like a penguin. It's like the penguin of the dinosaur age. Prosaurolophus. Sure. Oh gosh, when your name starts with a PS, the P must be silent. Psittacosaurus. Pterodon. Pterodactylus. Oh my goodness. These names. The Saltosaurus. Come on. My fingertips get so dry after so many pages. But this book is printed beautifully. I don't know which Amazon facility this came from, but this one, like, I mean, all of my black pages are so nice. And on a book that's this large, I'm like, man, they must have just changed the ink or something. Sometimes, you know, you get like really streaky paper and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like this one was printed really, really nicely. The Supersaurus. Oh man, that's like a superhero dinosaur. My son is gonna love this book. I just know it with all the dinosaurs. He's gonna absolutely love it. We'll have fun doing this together. This one I was almost tempted to do because I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, let's just take a minute to appreciate this guy. So he's super tall. He's like above the trees. Here's the birds like flying around, but he's like hairy and he's got these long fingernails that need to be clipped and this like big funky tail. The Therizinosaurus. We're gonna have to like look him up and just have a moment to take a gander at what he really looks like, because I mean he's something special. There's my Triceratops. Oh, and he's hanging out in the rain. Like, I do like I really give props to the illustrator of this, because I'm like, man, they had to come up with a lot of different scenes for dinosaurs. And a lot of different poses, you know, for them. Here's the T-Rex, the Tyrannosaurus. The Ultrasaurus. This guy's a little interesting too, a little monster kind of looking. The Velociraptor. The Wenanosaurus. Wana. And he definitely gives you appreciation for the wide variety of dinosaurs that lived, you know, so long ago. Unless this book is like completely made up and these dinosaurs don't really exist. Like this guy here, he's a little like Bigfooty kind of looking. Okay, so that is the end of this book. So let's look again at all of our fun books that we peeked at. I've got them kind of spread all over everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing one. Prachi's book here. Okay, so here's all the books we looked at. So again, all of the links to these books will be down below with timestamps for you to go and look at them if there's any that you're interested in purchasing. I hope you're having a great day. I will talk to you again soon in my next video. Bye.